So actually going back to ownership and things, right? In the car market, of course, there's this whole concept of pre-owned or second-hand vehicles, right? What are your comments on that? What do you think is going on in that space in India?
So I will give you, let's say, my feelers on this from luxury segment point of view. In general, I think there are various views in the industry. How big is the pre-owned cars business? Some research say that it is as big as the new cars business. Some research say it is 2.5 times as big as new cars. So nobody knows exactly how much big is it, but it is really big. As far as luxury segment is concerned, uh, it is growing very fast, primarily because of two, three reasons. One is that off late, because of the topics that we just spoke about, the cost of new cars has gone up in last 2, 3 years quite a bit. That means there the gap between non-luxury and luxury segment has grown. That means there is a space in between where there are potential buyers. At this point in time, they're not able to buy new cars, so there is something else to be bought. They've already owned the non-luxury car segment, but what next for them? So this is where the pre-owned cars business comes to us, and this is where we are becoming strong. Second is about how good the experience they will have before they already buy these luxury segment cars, and this is also equally important because if they feel happy by owning a pre-owned luxury cars, they will eventually shift to a luxury car. And for us, it is also important because once we have a pre-owned cars business, uh, where we are able to sell these cars to a customer, these are already known people for us, where we can eventually in next 2 years time sell a new cars to them. So this becomes a win-win for everybody. So I think this business becoming organized from a non-organized unorganized sector, this is helping, and the gap between luxury and non-luxury segment is also helping this business to grow. I can give you some examples. In the year 2021, we grew almost 30% as compared to 2020. We have doubled our showrooms. Last year we had 7 Audi approved plus, which we call our premium cars business. We had 7 showrooms in 2020. We made 14 by 2021, and by end of this year we'll have 20 pre-owned car showroom. So this business is also growing, and every year it is actually growing at a very fast pace, sometimes even more at a bigger speed than new cars business. So which is the reality. But also, sometimes we have to be careful about these statements. Sometimes it is growing also at a lower base. Those are the impact in terms of when we look at percentage growth. But it is a very strong pillar of our business, and which also helps our dealer to become sustainable. But at the same time, we are able to give an Audi experience to potential buyers who one day will be my new car buyers.
It's an entry into the Audi family in some ways. So even among academics, we believe that the pre-owned market or the second-hand market acts as a complement to the ownership market because it increases resale values for cars. And I don't know if the luxury car segment people are thinking in terms of resale, but it does tell people that hey, if I want to sell my car, I can always get a good value for it, especially if it's organized.
So you are absolutely right. I think it matters a lot because even in luxury segment, it is even more important because the value that you spend in buying a new car is quite high. So so resale values do make a lot of difference, and customers do have in their mind. And what we offer to our existing customers of Audi who want to sell the cars is a peace of mind, and also to the buyer a peace of mind. We do, let's say, 300-point check. We have extended warranty program 2 years, service program for 2 years for these pre-owned cars. So not only do you get ease of paperwork, because in India the paperwork of pre-owned cars is a bit more complex. So we try to give ease of selling and buying for both, and at the same time peace of mind of owning for next 2 to 3 years. And then we go back to the customer saying that now probably the time has come when you buy a new car, and we also take your car back and sell to somebody else. So it's a constant engagement with our existing customer, and our job is to give them ease, comfort, so that their connect with brand remains forever.
No, I think it's a great value proposition and to maintain some kind of a lifetime value with customers.
Absolutely.
Um, so I want to shift to a little bit on how the world is changing in terms of, sustainability, environment, and everything else, right? So let's talk about some of the plans that Audi and Audi India and Audi in general has on adopting a sustainable goal. And I know that as a global company, they're actually leaders in this front. So if you could talk a little bit about the
So, yes, you're absolutely right. Audi, as a global company, we decided our strategy 2030, which is Volkswagen 2030, which means that we already, through this strategy, defined our goals for the future to be sustainable business and with a very clear timelines. So, globally, Audi will become a fully electric car company by 2033. And from 2026 onwards, all the new launches that we will do will be only electric cars. So this is very clear direction, and obviously we as Audi India also have to align with this. What we did in 2020, 1st April, when we India moved from BS4 to BS6, we at that time decided that we will change our strategy from diesel plus petrol technology that we were selling in India to petrol and electric strategy. So from 1st April 2020 onwards, we only started selling petrol cars first, and last year we launched 5 electric cars. We are the only manufacturer at that point in time that had so many cars to offer. So we are moving in that direction of sustainable business, because at the end of the day, this is a global phenomena, and we as a global company have taken leadership in this, and we were the first one to announce this, that we will be a fully electric car company, and everybody is very clearly moving toward that direction. We are also aligning our partners here in India. We are aligning our product strategy to this same extent, and that is the future for us.
So one of the things in that strategy, right, and it's definitely very good on Audi's front to have the strategy and vision to say this is where we need to move. But one of the challenges in this space, of course, is the infrastructure associated with these things, right? So are there any plans to work with other providers, let's say for charging stations, or is there a separate plan in place for Audi customers, identify select locations where they can get these things done?
It's a very pertinent point. I mean, you can imagine the number of fuel stations we have in this country. The charging station will take time to reach that number of charging points. But I think we are in moving in the right direction, because right now everybody is focused on electric mobility for the country, whether it is the central government, whether these are state governments or the manufacturers. So everybody is moving in that direction. And I can only tell you from my limited experience for last couple of months now, from the time we've launched these cars, that uh, the most important person in the whole of this discussion is the customers. How progressive and proactive they are in adopting the new technology. It's a completely different kind of cars. We are not used to these kind of cars. But I can tell you, the customers have really come forward, and they're really appreciating what we are bringing as a technology, and they are appreciating and they're adopting. And I can only share that, whatever number of cars that we got in India, we are already pre-selling even before they're landing into India. And if I can get 2 times what we are getting today, we are able to sell them. So this is the kind of response that we've got. Coming back to infrastructure, I think most of the customers who have bought our cars, at least the segment that we operate in, mostly these are not their first cars. So these are their additional cars at their home. And most of the customers are charging these cars at their home or at their office, wherever they want. So with every car, we give 2 chargers. One we install at their place wherever they want, and the second always remains with the car if they want to travel. So, and the mileage on the cars is, let's say, 400 kilometers. So within city, anyway, it is not a problem. You can run 400 kilometers, because normally the commute of our customer is between 50 to 100 kilometers in a day. So you don't even need to charge on a daily basis. But intercity travel obviously will need charging infrastructure. Also high speed charging infrastructure. Right now, most of the infrastructure is AC charging infrastructure. This needs to be DC 50 kilowatts and above, where you can stop by 30 minutes, you fill up, and then you carry on.
Right. Get a tea or
Absolutely.
samosa, and then your car is charged, right?
Absolutely. But it's not a chicken and egg story. I think this development will happen parallelly. Infrastructure will come. What we are doing as a company is that we have tied up with many companies to provide charging infrastructure. We have an application which is called My Audi app, where there is something called e-tron Hub, where a customer of our customer, in fact, this application we've opened for anybody to use, you can find out the close by charger. What we've done is we've installed over 75 chargers already at some of our dealerships, but also at our group companies dealership. Like we are a group company, and there are other brands also in India, Skoda or VW. So wherever there are strategic locations, we have put the AC charging so far. We are now starting to put DC chargers at our dealerships, which are fast chargers, which customers can use. So we're doing our bit, but we will, as a automotive manufacturer, will not be a charging company ever.
Right.
So that strength areas of some other verticals or some other companies, which a lot is happening today. On a central government, I think the good thing is that the GST on luxury cars is 5%, or for that matter, for all electric cars is 5%, which is, if I compare to ICE engines, it's much lower, which is helping us because in the beginning, the cost of luxury electric cars is very high. On the state government side, many state governments are very progressive, and they have removed the registration cost on electric cars that helps the customer to adopt fast. And so I think everybody is coming together to make it a success, and I have no doubts that it will be a big success. And I always say electrification is a journey; it's not a destination. So we are constantly moving in the right direction, and I'm sure we as a country will be successful.
Well put, well put. So I'm going to shift a little bit to customers again. Um, so one of the things that people talk about is the changing face of customers. Now you talked about how a lot of your customers are progressive and they're adopting EV and they're adopting these new products. Do you find them to be in the more millennial generation? Are they from the older generation? Are you seeing a shift in behaviors?
So, as far as luxury segment goes, I think keeping in mind the costs of ownership of these cars, in the sense the because of whatever reasons we spoke about the of these cars, it's a mixed bag. We have customers in most of the age bracket, but we still say at Audi that our customers are the youngest ones. So there is a good mix of professionals. There is a good mix of businesses, entrepreneurs who are owning these cars. But off late, I think the new trend that we are seeing also is a lot of ownership by the startups. There are 100 plus unicorns in India. You have not just the founders, but the employees also becoming wealthy over a period of time for the successful unicorns. And this value creation is happening across the country, and this is also helping us sell in that category as well. But otherwise, I think overall it's a well spread out customers who are the buyers of luxury cars.
Okay. And are there differences in taste? I'm sure there must be a huge difference in taste, but are there anything in particular that you think is an indicator of the future, or something that tells us that trends are changing here?
So, if you see India by itself, we are, United States of India. So we have customers who are of various tastes across country, from north, south, west to east. So to that extent, I think we are a good homogeneous a place where a luxury product is a big aspiration for India. So this is something, when you buy luxury cars, you have achieved in your life, and that's why it's like a celebration in India when you buy these cars. But one thing which is common from for most of the customers is also that they look upon Audi as a global brand. So that's their aspiration to reach out and buy these cars, and this is where they associate themselves to be arrived in life by owning these products. So this is a common thing. What you said, what is the future? I think digitalization is the future. So there is a lot of interaction. We already spoke in length about this, where there's a lot of interaction happens with the customer on digital platform. But I think going forward, also customers are looking forward to new technologies in terms of connected cars, electric mobility, and these are the topics which are at the forefront right now. And we do best efforts to bring as many latest technologies, as many latest cars as possible, which law of the land allows us to do for our customers, because they're very well traveled. They know what is happening globally. So they want all the cars which are available anywhere else in the world also to be available in India. That makes our life a little bit complex for sure, because they want all the models, though the industry is very small. But that's our job to take care of these kind of topics, and to also serve them throughout the ownership life.
Yeah, and you talked about connected cars, and that's something that I think is something in the future, and it'll be something really good to have. We're still not there, and I'm sure there's a lot of infrastructure issues associated with that. But I agree with you that it's definitely something that's going to happen in the
Oh
future.
yes, absolutely. Right now, I can also give you, let's say, some perspective to this. So when we talk of connected cars, it's one is you connected to your car. So right now, this, for example, every car that we are selling today, it's already connected, but it's connected to your mobile. So a lot of things that you can do on your car, you can also see on your mobile. So that to that extent, we already are doing. The next level of connectivity is car to car connect. There, this is where infrastructure will play a bigger role. I think future is going in that direction, and I'm sure we'll have more and more technology where you can also buy things on the car on the move. You can upgrade the car on the move. You can increase the, let's say, you want more power for 3 months. It's on the tab. You click some button, then you get it. So all those things are coming.
Yeah, no, and I think one of the things that we forget is we spend a lot of time in our cars, right? In the
Absolutely.
commuting and everything else. And so to have the convenience of a lot of things in our car is something that people would appreciate a lot. Yeah.
So we talk to our customers mostly, especially the high-end customers, the customers who configure their own cars. It's extension of their personality. So car is their extension of, and they spend a lot of time, as you mentioned, either driving or sitting at the back, and that's the cozy atmosphere they look upon, and that's why luxury players do bring those values for the customers, and that's why customers do spend this kind of monies to own these assets.
Yeah, definitely. So this is the last question for the day. I feel bad letting you go, but we have to end. All good things come to an end, unfortunately. So what do you think about the policy environment? What do you think are the biggest disruptions that you foresee? Uh, how does the current policy climate work with respect to luxury cars, and what do you want to see?
To be honest, luxuries operating in luxury space is not that easy because we are a small volume in luxury space in terms of automotive, but we have to follow all the policies of the volume segment. So the complexities of this policy follow up is not easy. So from time to time, there are new regulations that come in, which kind of creates sometimes hurdles. And obviously, on the second side, the taxation and duty structures on luxury segments are very high. So to tell you that the GST and cess put together on luxury cars is between 48 to 50%. So that's the highest in this country. And on top of that, the customers end up paying between 10 to 20% registration costs. So it's a layering and layering of taxes and duties, which is kind of suppressing the segment. And if you, let's say, let it grow as any other automotive segment, or if you see any global relative duty and taxation structure, we are far ahead, far higher. And if this is taken care, I'm sure the segment will flourish. Like I mentioned in the beginning, not only we are just about 1.5%, 1 to 1.5% of automotive segment. Even the automotive segment is less than 34,000 people. So there is a lot of growth potential that exists. It's just that we need a little more push that will make us smile and also bring a lot of smile to our customers' faces, because we will be able to present ourselves to a much larger audience than we are able to present today.
And I think it's well put. I'm a firm believer that, once you see quality, right? Quality has this effect where everybody, once they get a taste of what quality is, they'll start demanding it even in other segments. And so for consumers to benefit in the long run, you should start letting high quality players start, reaching a lot more people.
Absolutely, fully agree with you.
Yeah. And so that ends our interview and dialogue series with Mr. Balbir Singh Dhillon. I hope you had a good time with this series. Thank you personally from my end. This was a very fascinating conversation that I had. And hopefully, you had a good time too.
It was
Thank
my
you.
pleasure. Thank you so much.